Okay. Now, more or less every single set of guidelines for improvement talks about kids need challenge. Kids need the work to be more challenged. And everything about motivation has the idea of challenge. And so, what does that mean in the case of maths? And I want to just talk about this mindsets. Who's heard of Carol Dweck and mindsets? You sometimes see articles in the paper that she says this, and I'm looking at the students again now. The teachers should, no, sorry, it's actually, so parents should never praise their children, she says. I'll explain why that is. They're saying that our parents don't praise us. They just tell us what to do, but anyway. Dweck says that kids either have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And students would, and can I just, she actually did some research where she put kids into 3 groups, and she gave them some tasks which were really quite hard tasks, and they got progressively harder. But then she said to one of the groups when they finished, you've done really well. You must be someone who tries really hard. And for the next group, she said, you've done really well. You must be really smart. And for the next group, she said, you've done really well. And what they found was the group that did better was the group that they said, you've done really well, you must try really hard. Because those kids got the self-image of someone who tries hard, and they kept trying. The group that did worse was the group that said, you've done really well, you must be really bright. Because as soon as the questions got hard, those questions didn't want the person who was doing the interviewing to find out they were no longer bright, because they couldn't do the question. So they stopped trying. So then they avoided the problem of having to fail. And so this is what students with a growth mindset believe they can get smarter by trying hard. Now this is not they can get better results by trying hard. They can get smarter by trying hard. And that students, they're not worried about failure. Someone mentioned this before. They remain focused on mastering skills even when they're challenged, and they believe that effort leads to success. These kids with that mindset. But with a fixed mindset, the students believe they're as smart as they're ever going to get. And those students, they're happy to be successful, but only on stuff they know how to do. They give up quickly when there's challenge, and they only derive their perception of their ability from the capacity to get a pat on the back from the teacher. So that is, they'll only do questions they're going to get right. But the key is teachers can change mindsets. And it's the things we affirm. Now, if we affirm effort, persistence, cooperation, learning from others, flexible thinking, that's what the kids will get the sense that that's what we want. If we think about the way we affirm, oh, you didn't give up even when you're stuck. You tried something different. You tried to find more than one answer. You have these phrases, not, oh, I like how neat your work is. I like the fact you got 19 out of 20. What a nice hat you've got. We're actually affirming the things that we think that are valuable. But it's also about the type of task we pass, and that's what our focus is. The type of task we're going to... we can't imagine that we can encourage a growth mindset, we encourage persistence, we can encourage connections, if the lessons and the tasks don't do that. So that's what we're going to look at. Now, this is just to remind me to mention that these are toys you can buy. That old people know what I'm talking about is true. They know that you can change your brain structure. They know that you can get smarter by trying hard. And they know that you can get smarter by doing so. People, they learn do crosswords, do Sudokus, learn a language, play Scrabble. Those things are all things that help people learn. Even, put your hands over your ears now, drinking red wine. It helps because it's actually, you do it in the company of friends and you have the discussions. So people know that you can get smarter by doing these things. I'm trying to learn French at the moment. I actually learned a French word last night. And because there's a crescent moon. There's a crescent moon at the moment. And I learned the French word for crescent moon. It's croissant. Oh, it's cool.
Makes sense.
I'm not sure which came first, but we'll... PISA has reports, now they obviously have reports, and I assume they've had 36 other ones, but I'll just let you read that. Now, PISA, that's the results where it's very constructed, very carefully constructed items over a long period of time. This is continuing on. I'm just going to read through the blue one. Teachers' use of cognitive activation strategies. Well, okay, what does that odd word mean? Well, it means giving students problems that require them to think for an extended time. Presenting problems for which there's no obvious way of arriving at a solution, and helping students to learn from the mistakes is associated with students' drive. So what it's saying is if you spend all your time giving problems that kids can answer quickly, giving the students problems for which the way of finding the answer is pretty obvious, and never always making sure the questions are either right or wrong, then you're not going to do this. Now, it also doesn't do any harm if you have clear goals and give students feedback on their performance, because that actually helps to lead to high level perseverance and openness to problem solving. And this is still from the PISA. But the point about this is, you can't develop perseverance by talking to the kids about perseverance. You have to give them stuff on which they can persevere. And then talk about, well, okay, you didn't persevere, you did persevere. Okay, how important was that?